Hello, Mount Rudmore here, and I am back with another BB26 stream. And my last stream was on Monday. Again, tried to do it yesterday, but honestly, I didn't feel I had enough to really fill a stream because the last 2 days were kind of slow. But of course, I'm paying the price for it today because late last night and into today, things started to pick up. Like when it was around time of the episode that stuff was actually going down in the feeds, and I didn't want to do a stream last night because why would I want to compete with Taryn? That's just foolish. But before we get to the episode, there is something rather important I would like to talk about. A correction, if you will. Um, this book, The Big Brother Bible, I recommended this in an early stream for this season. That was before I realized what a toxic bully the writer was, and I deeply regret buying this book because just take one look at Big Bro Bible on Twitter, and you will see just how unhinged this guy is. He is honestly kind of scary. So don't buy this book. It's full of typos anyway. I didn't mention that when I recommended it because I wanted to be nice. But yeah, it's full of typos, and honestly, I think this book is destined to just end up as either like a level for an uneven chair or maybe just in a paper shredder. So yeah, just want to get that out of the way. Now, since my last stream, there have been 2 episodes, and the first one could have been an email. It was Jag, Taylor, and Cody Cauliflower talking about the season, recapping the season. Now, I subscribe to Puya from RHAP's theory that this was just a catch-up episode for anyone who was watching the Olympics. I got no better explanation than that. That's the only reason I can think of as to why this existed. But if you are caught up on the show, you did not need to watch it. And like even this twist that they teased, they only told us the name and that America would be voting, but we don't know what the twist actually does. It's just called the AI Instigator, and if we know what's good for us, we'll vote for Tucker. He's already an instigator, so let's have him have a show-sanctioned power to be more of an instigator. I think that'd be pretty enjoyable. Now, as for last night's episode, the veto episode, um, it has a no one doing anything segment. And I refuse to say there's been a boring week so far this season, but there have been stretches of nothingness every week. Like it always picks up eventually. Case in point, this week did start to pick up in the last 24 hours or so. But yeah, there's a segment on the show where everyone's just kind of chilling. Like, some people are exercising in the backyard. Joseph and Leah are just kind of hanging out, watching them work out. And it's like the show didn't really commit to putting them forward as a potential showmance because there's really nothing there. It just kind of showed them near each other. And honestly, with Matt and Mackenzie no longer being a thing, I feel like this is just the best they got. Of course, they do have Tucker and Rabina, but we can't have just one. So we get a segment where Joseph is reforming the collective, just with Brooklyn in Angela's place now. I just noticed in my notes I wrote refirming collective. But yeah, we get that segment just to let people know, like, hey, remember that thing? Angela blew up. It still kind of exists. Just she's been replaced. So, and this actually is, you know, probably the second most solid alliance in the House after the Pentagon. Of course, everyone from the Pentagon is in the collective now. Before, Brooklyn was left out. But yeah, Joseph gets some screen time, like giving him credit for putting this group together, or back together specifically. We also get a segment between Joseph and Tucker. They're just showing really vibing a lot and shows them making a final two, which they call themselves the Critics. I have not heard that name once. So, yeah, I guess they just left that off of the feeds and they're like, we'll surprise them on the episode with it. Well, since there's two of them, shouldn't they have just called themselves Siskel and Ebert or something? I don't know. I've been on a Siskel and Ebert binge lately. They were so good. So we get picks for the veto competition. Tucker's name is drawn, so he gets to drawn by Angela, so he gets to decide who he wants competing, and he picks Joseph. And then Cedric gets his name pulled, and he picks Brooklyn. Now, if you've been paying attention, you will know that this is the third time in 4 weeks that Joseph and Brooklyn were the two names picked for the veto competition. But this time is especially egregious because anyone could have been picked. There's still 4 people that have not competed in a veto yet, and they picked these two together again. So we get to the veto competition. It is called Binary Bridge, which Rabina hosts. And the way this works is across this bridge, there's 2 tiles on each side. And if you step on one and it lights up green, you can move on to the next one. But if it's red, you got to reset. And it's kind of a knockout competition, but not one where you pick your opponents. Like all the picks are drawn beforehand. But it is a case of head to head, and the winner moves on. It's it's in the ballpark of the knockout comp, I guess. And not for nothing, but I noticed they were calling it ones and twos. But if it's binary, it would be ones and zeros. You know, I do have a degree in information technology, so you know, I kind of know some computer stuff. Now, there's going to be 3 rounds, and the winner, well, the winner who has the best time automatically moves on to the final round. The other 2 winners, they got to go head to head to decide who's going against said winner. So the first matchup is Cedric in Brooklyn. And Cedric wins with a time of 3:13. Next is Mackenzie versus Angela. And they both struggle really hard. Angela, in particular, she cannot remember what she stepped on. And we get a whole Chelsea segment of just going like, Angela, you should know that you can't step on this one because you've stepped on it 7 times. In her very animated Chelsea fashion. But Mackenzie eventually wins this with a time of 7:15, so obviously Mackenzie is going to be in the next round. Last up is Tucker versus Joseph. And Tucker's strategy is to just move. Just move. Like just get as far as you can on the bridge. When you have to go back, quickly hit reset, and then just do it again and just go as fast as possible. And even without knowing that even without knowing the actual results of the competition, you could tell that Tucker was going to win this one and do it in the fastest time because he was just relentless, as is his usual style. When he's in a competition, he is quite a competitor. He does not relax. And sure enough, he wins with the fastest time of 1 minute and 55 seconds. So he's straight through to the final round. So now it's Cedric versus Mackenzie. And the way this one ends up going is they both kind of find themselves at the same number of spaces into the bridge. And so when they're at the same place, they're just sort of in a standoff to see who's going to make the next move. And slowly but steadily, they make their way through. Of course, there's a couple resets, but Mackenzie gets to the last one. She just got to pick the right one. She really has a 50-50 chance of advancing. And Cedric is right there. She chooses the wrong one. Wait, no. She was at the second to last one, and she chooses the wrong one. So Cedric's able to choose that one, and then he has one more in front of him. Now he has the 50-50 chance of winning, and he chooses correctly. So Cedric is going up against Tucker in the final rounds. And then we get a montage of how Tucker can't win. And of course, Tucker wins, doing the same strategy he had before, just being absolutely relentless in the competition. Whereas Cedric is just kind of. I mean, Cedric's like focused, but he's not super active about how focused he is. He's just taking his time. I got two canker sores in my mouth. It hurts. Even taking a sip of water hurts. I mean, it's nice and cold, but it kind of stinks. So yeah, Tucker wins. Nobody's happy. We get Quinn in the diary room, lying on the couch, screaming, and it's like, enough, Quinn. All right, we get it. You're trying to become a meme, but no one's impressed. Just just Quinn has shown glimpses of being himself, and when he's himself, he's kind of enjoyable. But when he's just deliberately hamming it up for the cameras, like he's not Tucker. Tucker can get away with hamming it up for the cameras. Quinn is not Tucker. I said this before. Tucker may have admitted he's playing a character, but he's playing a character that he's played many times before in his life. A lot of people, especially Quinn, are playing the character that they think America wants to see in the Big Brother house. And it's like, just be authentic. That's how I felt about it. Then we get a montage of Tucker being like, am I going to use it? Am I going to not use it? Am I going to use it on someone else? What am I going to do? And of course, Angel the whole time is like, no, please, don't. Please use it on yourself. And of course, he does end up using it on himself. And at the end, his diary room is like, gotcha. I surprised some people in the house, and maybe I surprised some of you out there. But yes, Tucker does use the veto on himself. Deepfake Angela shows up and names Rabina as the replacement. Now let's get to the feeds since my last stream. At this point, the consensus is to vote out Mackenzie if she's on the block and Rabina if she's not. And they decide that pretty quickly, and it makes Monday a rather slow day because no one really pushes back too much. And there's also a lot of crush talk because it's still Love Island. Dolfika on BB Twitter actually made not an alliance chart, but a chart of who has a crush on each other, who's BFFs with each other, and who has beef with each other. So that was a very entertaining sight. I think I retweeted it. If not, I should have. If I didn't, I'm gonna go find it and retweet it after this stream. I thought this was kind of interesting. Brooklyn confesses to Chelsea her big secret. I was a dancer. Why keep that a secret? Like, is she worried about being seen as too athletic? I mean, she hasn't won any comps yet, so probably nothing to worry about there. And it's like, why was Brooklyn keeping that a secret, but Quinn and Mackenzie could not keep their powers to themselves? That's what I don't understand. Okay, Mackenzie, I kind of understand why she used it because, like, why she used it for game strategy, but I don't understand why Quinn couldn't keep it to himself. Quinn has a cam talk in front of Joseph. And he's like, this guy here, he's throwing comps. And Joseph's like, whoa, 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 whoa. I am not throwing comps. I'm just not good at them. Of course, Quinn was joking, but like Joseph seems to be taking it pretty seriously. And then Joseph has a later camp talk where he says, so I actually have been throwing comps. And I'm like, that's a risky strategy nowadays. That's what Corey tried to do last year, and it didn't work for him. There were a few competitions he really should have at least tried to win. Might have helped me stick with the season all the way to the end. Leah tells Rabina that she's going to vote to keep her over Mackenzie because she doesn't like Mackenzie anymore. This Leah Mackenzie relationship was sort of a marriage of convenience type of thing, but it just it wasn't solid. Like they were both just close to Matt. And when he left, they thought they had to stay together, but they just haven't really felt the need. And to be honest, neither of them has really felt the need to be super close to anybody because they've both been consistently on the outs. I didn't talk about this before, but prior to my last stream, Leah had shared some 1950s esque gender roles, like views of gender roles for relationships. She's like, women are the prize. Cedric said, the relationship is the prize. And this starts spreading around now, and Leah is becoming a target, especially for Chelsea, who tells T-Core and Rabina that they can't trust Leah anymore. So that's just further proof as to why T-Core and Chemo put should have convinced Quinn to put Leah on the block because if she didn't win the AI arena, then it would have been an easy vote. Quinn says that he's not going to go out of his way to protect Leah anymore, but he would go out of his way to protect the Visionaries, which is him, T-Core, and Chemo. And it's the fact that he's saying this proves that he really would have been open to putting Leah up if he had a little more information. Like, he just thinks their relationship is rocky right now. He doesn't realize that their relationship is Leah hates his guts. So, yeah, this is just further proof that T-Core and Chemo shouldn't have been talking about talking to Quinn, and they should have just talked to Quinn. T-Core tells Rabina that Angela is a problem because she's continuously riling up Tucker with misinformation, because that's the thing Angela likes to do. She likes to just say stuff and see what happens. That's pretty chaotic, but that means the energy has attracted Tucker, and he thrives on chaos. So, Mother Tucker, as they're called. It's it's quite a duo. This was kind of funny, kind of sad, kind of cringe, a little bit of everything. Angela's in the HOH room and here's a 5 points meeting. Well, 5 points minus Brooklyn. By the way, Tucker, Rabina, T-Core, Chemo. She comes out and joins them, but like she's literally like, "Can I join? I'll be on the bottom." It sounded so pitiful the way she was asking. Like, you're the HOH. Like, yes, you're not really the HOH. Quinn is, but it's just you didn't have to be in this position, Angela. Quinn and Joseph came to you with an alliance that really could have worked out. All right, but you refuse to believe it's real, and now you're just desperate for anything. This is why I don't understand the people who are like, I want Angela to win this game. Like, no, you can enjoy the chaos all you want, but You shouldn't want her to win this game. She's very bad at it. But for what it's worth, Tucker is willing to let her in just for numbers. So there's that, I guess. T-Core and Chemo talk for a while. They say they want to talk to Quinn about Leah. We've been here before, and at this point it's too late anyway because he's made his renomination. Technically, at this point, I'm thinking Angela technically has more power than him because the vote could end in a tie, and Angela breaks that tie. So technically speaking, I'm like, it seems like Angela is actually kinda almost the HOH now. But we'll get to that in a while. They actually do end up talking to Quinn, and they don't tell him about Leah. They're broken records at this point. It's just what they keep doing. They talk about talking to Quinn, then they talk to Quinn, and they don't talk to Quinn about what they wanted to talk to Quinn about. But they agree Leah can't be trusted, and Chemo actually goes on to tell Tucker that there's a big alliance, including Leah. So Chemo's actually putting in some work here, more or less. I mean, as much as you can call it work, considering it's Chemo. But he's trying to turn Tucker against Leah a little bit. Leah would have been so perfect to be on the block this week. No one would have cared. I mean, listen, I'm as bored by unanimous votes as the next guy, but it would have been good for Quinn's game to get her on the block because she probably would have been a unanimous boot if she didn't win the AI arena. Tucker tells Joseph about Angela trying to join the 5 Points Alliance. And he says that he still wants Quinn out. Joseph says he's with him, but then he later talks to us, and he says that he was lying. He does not want Quinn out. In the actual conversation, though, they say that they want to nominate Quinn, Cedric, and Chelsea. So Chelsea is starting to slip a little bit here because previously she'd been in the best position in the house, and now her name is in a couple people's mouths. And Joseph actually hints at the Pentagon's existence without outright naming it. Like he just says certain people are working together, and it's those people. Leah talks to Chemo and T-Core about how she wants Mackenzie out because she's a competitor who copies Leah, apparently. And that is another thing that was talked about before, but I didn't mention because I didn't think it was relevant because I this is the second time in this stream I've had to say something about Leah that was said before, but I didn't feel the need to update because that's how irrelevant I think Leah is. I don't really consider her words too often. She doesn't think Rabina is a threat, but she's concerned about her relationship with Tucker. Quick reminder that at one point she had a crush on Tucker. Now at this point, T-Core and Chemo know that Brooklyn told Chelsea about 5 Points. T-Core doesn't like that she's been left out. And they debate blowing it up, but it's these two, so I'm like, probably not going to go anywhere. I know I said they're a broken record, but I'm a broken record talking about how they're probably not going to do much. Or are they? Quinn asks Chemo if Tucker is getting the underdogs back together, which, bear in mind, at this point, that's 5 points minus Brooklyn, Tucker Rabina, T-Core Chemo, and Tucker. And Quinn was a part of it once upon a time. Chemo says no. Not very convincingly, but he says no. But he asks Quinn if he could realign with Tucker. Quinn is unsure due to how Tucker betrayed him before. Quinn tells Chemo that Chelsea suggested taking out Rabina over Mackenzie, which Chemo doesn't love. Tucker, he's still trying to get Cedric out. He's talking to Leah. She says that she can't even be around Quinn anymore. Told you that. She has the ick with him. Her words. But after this conversation, Tucker actually says that she is to him what Quinn is to her. So he doesn't really seem to like her, apparently. And honestly, like, Leah's not really giving anybody anything, so why would they really like her? I mean, she's not really doing anything. And again, this is why T-Core and Chemo should have told Quinn that she doesn't like him, so he could have put her up. And everything would be Happy Gilmore. Chemo asks Tucker if he and Quinn could bury the hatchet. Chemo says they have bigger fish to fry in Cam, Cedric, Chelsea, and Brooklyn, which, bear in mind, is the Pentagon minus Quinn. But Tucker is not sure due to how he betrayed Quinn. It's just it keeps coming back to that. Like the Chemo's trying to get them to work together, and neither one wants to because they're much more interested in going after each other. Chemo tells T-Core about Chelsea wanting Rabina out, which makes them wonder, should we flip it on Cedric? Again, I'm thinking it's these two. Probably not going to go anywhere. Quinn tells Brooklyn that he'll placate Tucker. Says he wants to make a deal with him and backstab him as soon as possible, like Dan did to Frank in season 14. And he also tells this to Joseph. Probably not a great idea to tell people you're doing this. Part of why it worked with Dan was that he didn't tell people. At least that's the impression I got. I did not watch BB14, but just from what I've gathered about Dan making that move, he didn't tell anyone about it. But yeah, he's just telling everybody his plans. He's telegraphing all his moves. He's like, well, this worked before, so clearly it's going to work now. Well, like, he's copying greatness. That doesn't automatically make him great. It's like back in the late 90s, there was a shot for shot remake of Psycho with Vince Vaughn. And it was literally just the original movie, but in color. They used the same script, same angles. It was pretty much a carbon copy. And that movie, not particularly well received. But the original Psycho, considered one of the greatest movies of all time. And by the way, I've seen it. It's pretty great. So that's what that's what Quinn is to me. He's the Vince Vaughn Psycho. Uh, Also worthy of note with Quinn, Brooklyn tells him about 5 points. So I hope nobody put their faith in 5 points because this alliance is. I think everybody probably knows about it at this point, except maybe Mackenzie and Leah. Um, Quinn tells Joseph that he thinks Chelsea and Brooklyn are playing the best games, but Joseph says, "Nah, I'm second to Chelsea." His position in the game is definitely growing. Like, it's better than where it was like 2 weeks ago in the aftermath of Angela blowing up at Matt, but he's not second yet. He's he's improving, but he's on an upward trend, but he thinks that he's at the top, and there's a difference. Joseph tells Tucker, and hold on, yeah, it's a similar conversation. Joseph tells Tucker he shouldn't target Quinn. This is similar to what Chemo said. You shouldn't target Quinn. Joseph says that Quinn isn't even worth targeting because he's not very good at the game. And Tucker agrees with that, but he still wants Quinn out. Tucker is quite petty. Hard to deny. Secor and Chemo want to give sympathy votes for Rabina. So, like, they don't want to vote her out. Like, if it's her against Cedric, I mean, if it's Mackenzie, who cares? Everyone's probably voting Mackenzie out over either of them. But they're talking about if it's a Cedric versus Rabina situation. They're like, maybe we'll throw a couple sympathy votes Rabina's way. And Brooklyn shoots them down. And they don't like being shot down. And from here, they encourage Rabina to talk to Quinn. They do talk. Quinn says that he doesn't think she's attached to Tucker. He says Tucker has to go, and she agrees he has to go eventually. And Quinn says that he does not want her to leave. Cedric campaigns to T-Core and Chemo. They ask what happens at the final 8 when the collective is all that's left. And Cedric just says, we'll figure it out. Not a comforting response. Cedric could have said something like, I got you. You're not on my list. There's some big targets that I want to go for. Even if he's lying, you can say it. But no, he doesn't give a very good answer. And now it's like, is this what T-Core and Chemo need to actually be a little more proactive? I just heard thunder outside. Quinn tells Chemo and T-Core about how Joseph wants to gun for the rest of the Pentagon, and they can do something soon. And Joseph has a similar conversation. We can make a move soon against the rest of the Pentagon. And Chemo says that they can make the move now on Cedric. At least if it's him versus Rabina. Joseph and T-Core think that it's too soon to make such a move. Chemo later tries to talk T-Core into it. She's not overly receptive. Chelsea talks to Cam about flipping on Rabina and keeping Mackenzie if it's the two of them. So this is a Rabina Mackenzie flip situation. And it might be too late to have any sway because even though Chelsea and Brooklyn, and to a lesser extent Cam, were some power players in this game, they haven't really been doing much this week. They kind of got comfortable and things are starting to happen without them. Chemo and T-Core find out about that scenario, possible vote flip between Rabina and Mackenzie. And this makes Chemo push again. Let's flip on Cedric. T-Core is slightly more into it, but still won't commit. Chemo tells Rabina that Brooklyn won't vote to keep her over Cedric. And T-Core has to calm her down, and neither are thrilled with Chemo for saying that, even though he was really just being honest. Truth hurts sometimes. Tucker tells Angela he's working on bringing her into 5 points. She's like, no, you don't have to. And she mentions that she was in a group called Week 1 called The Collective. Um, Tucker knows about The Collective. Joseph told him. But he seems to forget that Joseph told him because he doesn't really react in any meaningful way. Either that or he's got a really good poker face. Angela tells Brooklyn that they should work together. Brooklyn says yes, and immediately rats it out to Quinn. Yeah, they also don't get along. It's almost like Angela knows who Brooklyn is friends with. Brooklyn talks to Cedric, and she says, we can ride to aid with the Pentagon and the Collective because no one knows the Pentagon exists. Um, the rest of the Collective knows it exists, and Tucker has had it hinted to him that at least certain members of the Pentagon are working together and should have their eye kept on, including you, Brooklyn. Now, we actually have some movement on the T-Core and Chemo front. They decide that if it is Rabina versus Cedric, they will use the short time between the reveal of who won the arena and the eviction. They're going to use that short time to get Leah and Joseph to vote out Cedric. This does still depend on them being more proactive, but it's 5 votes. T-Core and Chemo, Tucker, Mackenzie having just come off the block, and Leah, Joseph. So potentially 6. They only need one of them. And also, Quinn was under the impression, including in last night's episode, that he would be able to vote. Well, actually, no, this part wasn't in the episode. He thought he could compete for the next HOH, but he can't. And that was what was in the episode last night. But Quinn has also learned he can't vote this week, so it will not be a tie. So when I said before, Angela has some more power now since she can break a tie, she can't now because there's only going to be 9 votes. Chemo talks about the potential vote flip to Joseph. Joseph doesn't love it, but he doesn't say no. So now this, bear in mind, is still in a Cedric versus Rabina situation. If Mackenzie is still on the block after the AI arena, she probably leaves. Something I've been doing for fun on random.org. They have a randomizer. You just put some things in for a list, and it randomizes the list. So what I've been doing is I have been putting the names of the people competing in the AI arena in the randomizer and hitting randomize. And whoever's at the top is the winner. Is who I say the randomizer picked to win. So I did it with Cedric, Mackenzie, Rabina, and it said Cedric was going to win. Now it's worthy of noting that it has yet to be right. So if it's not right tonight, then Cedric just better hope it's Rabina. Well, listen, we don't know what the competition is. We don't know who's going to have an advantage. We don't know if it'll be like the first competition where it was really fully equitable. And I'd say last week's one was pretty equitable too. The second one with Tucker, Angela, Lisa, not so equitable. Tucker was really able to run away with that. And yes, Tucker ran away with it last week, but I feel like anyone could have run away with it under the right circumstances. Also, I feel like it was just Tucker being his usual aggressive competitor self. So, you know. But it is interesting now that Tucker is not competing in the AI arena that we do have to wonder who will win. And also, not for nothing, it's a woman hasn't won it yet. So, I suppose it would be nice to see a woman win the AA arena, but only if it's Rubina. Like, I want to see Rubina win a competition because she looks like the kind of person who doesn't win anything. And so far, she hasn't won anything, but, I'd like it to be equitable enough that Rubina has a shot. But yeah, that's pretty much where it stands. If it's Cedric versus Rubina, it's going to be close, but it's not looking good for Cedric. But either of them versus Mackenzie, Mackenzie leaves, especially if it's Rubina versus Mackenzie. Like, I think Mackenzie has no shot. Like, Rubina versus Mackenzie, Mackenzie might leave unanimously. All right, last time I checked, feeds went down, so there might not be anything to report. I just heard thunder again. But I'll check Twitter, see if anything has happened. There's a lot of people who don't want to lose Cedric yet. They think he's too interesting. He has too much potential. And I agree. I don't want to lose him yet. That being said, if we do, then Cedric will be the example that Tucker almost was against volunteering yourself for the block. All right, nothing on my main timeline other than some Cedric love. Oh, I just saw from Maximus Mom 13, they're going ahead with the flip. So, yeah. Uh, I mean, it'll be the two of them. They'll definitely have Tucker because he wants Cedric out anyway. They'll definitely have Mackenzie. She hasn't really liked Cedric too much. I don't think Leah will be very hard to pull in. So, Cedric, You better hope Mackenzie doesn't win. Oh, apparently Chemo said, people don't think I'll blow up their effing games. We could literally spill tea on everyone. This is what we've been wanting you to do. It's like, I haven't seen anyone say Tikor and Chemo are bad people, but I've seen many people say they're bad players. And to be honest, they kind of are. But, like, this could be a big one. If they really do go all in, then this week might be another all timer. So yeah, I don't want Cedric to leave, but if he does, it's his own fault. Like it would have been Tucker's fault if he wasn't so freakishly good at competitions. Cedric won one competition and got overconfident. And to be fair, so did Tucker, but he could actually back it up. All right, that'll do it for this stream. Thank you for watching. You can follow me on Twitter at NickGrimesYT. I have links to my Twitch channel and my YouTube channel there. You can catch up on all my previous streams, and you can get my thoughts on Big Brother stuff as it happens on my Twitter if you follow me there. And we'll see what happens tonight. There's a couple ways this can go. Personally, I want Mackenzie out for one simple reason. She's my least favorite of the three people on the block. She just hasn't really done anything for me so far this game. I think we've gone from Cedric being the one who was definitely safe to Rabina being the one who's definitely safe. So that is quite a flip. But then again, it could flip right back. There's still time. We don't know how crazy these people are going to get, and we still don't know who the final nominees are going to be. But if Mackenzie wins the AI arena tonight, we might get some serious reaction shots. So that would be the silver lining to Cedric leaving, I guess. Even though, like I said, I don't want him to go yet. But yes, that will do it for this stream. I will see you next time. Peace out.